Gavin, Linda, straight through, please.
I'm sorry I'm late, Mr.
Never
Brittas.
mind, Colin, straight through to the restroom, please.
Right, Mr. Brittas.
You've closed us down again.
I shall be explaining that, Laura.
It's the 4th time this month.
If you'd just like to go straight through to the restroom, please. The restroom, Colin. I said the staff restroom.
I just need the toilet first, Mr. Brittas. I've been taking a lot of fennel recently to help purify my system.
All right, Colin.
Unfortunately, he seems to have put my kidneys into spasm and given me this hyperactive bladder.
Just join us when you can, Colin, will you?
Right, Mr. Brittas.
They are, Mr. Brittas.
Oh, thank you, Angie.
What do you want a Polaroid for?
All will be revealed, Angie. All will be revealed. So, the facts are these. During the course of yesterday afternoon, Carol had to leave her baby... Ben, in his carry-cots here in the staff restroom.
My mother would have kept him, but she's back in hospital, you see.
Thank you, Carol.
Her body's rejected the hip replacement.
We're all very sad to hear that, Carol. Now,
Sorry about that, Mr. Brittas, but it can be quite painful if I don't, you know.
if you'd just like to take a seat, please, Colin. Now, Carol hid the £5 that she'd borrowed down beside the mattress here in the carry-cots.
I know it was silly, but I needed the money for a cassette of womb music to help him sleep.
So Carol hid the £5 in the carry-cots.
He has a lot of trouble sleeping. So do I, actually.
Carol.
I haven't had a good night's sleep since I...
Carol. Now, as some of you are undoubtedly aware, £5 is a lot of money to Carol, and paying me back is not going to be easy for her.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brittas. Once more should do it.
But I think there's a much more serious issue here, staff morale. If we're ever going to work together as a team, we have to be able to trust each other, and that is why I've decided to close the centre this morning.
But are you sure that's absolutely necessary, Mr. Brittas?
I think it's vital, Laura.
Well, I know it's serious, but we are covered by insurance, and it was only £5.
Unfortunately, it wasn't only £5.
Wasn't it?
£5 is just the tip of a very ugly iceberg. Last Tuesday, when Patrick came in here to wash his hair, he found that his sachet of shampoo had been removed from the shower alcove. Wednesday afternoon, this very same room, Gavin's soap on a rope mysteriously disappeared.
Sorry about that, Mr. Brittas. I feel so much better.
And on Friday, when I came in to check the staff coffee money, I discovered that 3 biscuits were unaccounted for.
Couldn't somebody have forgotten, Mr. Brittas?
How could anyone forget, Carol? It couldn't be simpler. You either put your 2p in the honesty box or you sign your name here in the book. OK, who's stolen the biscuit pencil? Right, that's another thing, the biscuit pencil.
Mr. Brittas, Mr. Brittas.
Perhaps you should move in there for the day, Colin.
No, I've been thinking, Mr. Brittas, perhaps it isn't a thief.
What?
Well, I saw this television programme the other night. It was about a postman, and he used to drive round in his little van. And when people kept missing things in his village, it turned out to be a bird.
A what?
I saw that. It was a jackdaw.
That's right. A jackdaw had been taking everything.
That's jewellery, Colin. Jackdaws take jewellery. It's not going to fly off with Gavin's soap on a rope, is it? It wouldn't fit in its beak.
No, I realise that, but...
I think Colin's right.
Pardon?
Well, I mean, I just can't believe it was anyone here. I mean, look around. We all know each other. No one in this room is going to steal £5 from Carol.
Looks can be very deceptive, Laura. I mean, you wouldn't know necessarily just by looking that someone in this room had a criminal record, would you?
Have they?
I thought no one was supposed to know about that.
What?
The person with the criminal record, whoever it is. I thought no one was supposed to know.
They don't. That information is completely confidential and always will be.
Well, how come you've just told everyone?
I didn't. All I said is someone in this room might have a criminal
You said
record.
they had, actually.
Yeah.
Did I? Well, I'm very sorry. I apologise. That's not what I meant to say.
It was a bit late, isn't it? I mean, everyone knows who it is now.
They don't. I've named no names, Danny.
Of course they do. All right, so I went to prison, but that doesn't mean I stole Carol's £5. I happen to have got involved in what was technically a bigamous marriage. You know, I've done me 3 months, and if anyone here wants to make anything out of it...
Look, Danny. I had no idea you had a criminal record. I wasn't even talking about you.
Weren't you?
No, I was talking about Mandy.
I knew he'd say it. He promised he wouldn't, but he had to go and say it.
Mandy, I'm sorry. Could we all please leave that off the record?
God knows Because you try to go straight. You try to make a fresh start. They never let you forget.
Now, that is exactly what I'm worried about. That's an excellent example of what can happen when the trust is eroded and you lose all team spirit. One bad apple, and that sort of heartache and suffering is the result. Laura, I want you to hand these out, please. I think the best thing we can do is find out where everyone was yesterday afternoon. So if you'd like to fill in the spaces provided, where you were, what you did, when you left, who you saw there, and anyone who might have seen you. All right? Now, this is purely a formality. I don't want anyone to feel they're under suspicion. But if you'd like to press firmly with a ballpoint or biro so the automatic copies are clear for cross-reference.
So, Mrs. Brittas, you want some more Valium, is that it?
Yes, please.
Are you feeling particularly depressed at the moment?
Yes, very.
Would you like to tell me why?
Well, I've run out of the pills.
Well, I'll need a little more than that if I'm to make a diagnosis, Mrs. Brittas.
Oh.
How are things at home, for instance?
Why can't I just have some more pills?
Well, that's not the way I like to work.
Oh, Dr. Burden used to just write out a prescription.
Yes, well, I don't like using purely chemical solutions, Mrs. Brittas. They only alleviate the symptoms.
Oh, sounds fine to me.
I see here from Dr. Burden's notes that things haven't always been easy with your husband. Are things difficult at the moment?
Not especially. He's always like that.
There's no new problem, then?
Oh, not especially. Well, yes. Yes, I suppose there is. You see, I've been seeing a friend in London for some time now, Simon, and he doesn't want to see me anymore.
I see.
Thank you.
Does your husband know about Simon?
Oh, no, there's no problem there. Trust me completely.
Mrs. Brittas, has it occurred to you that a lack of honesty in your relationship with your husband could be what's causing this depression?
No.
You see, I think the two of you should be talking about this, if necessary, with a third person.
You mean some sort of marriage guidance?
Yes. Well, why not?
You've never met my husband, have you?
Perhaps I should. And if you'd rather, I'd be quite happy if the suggestion of marriage guidance came from me.
Is that the only way I'm going to get more pills?
I wouldn't put it quite like
All right,
that.
when do I bring them in?
Sometime next week.
No.
No?
No, this has to be sorted out today. I've only got 2 pills left and Gordon will be home at 4.
Well, I suppose
I'll be back in an hour.
Well, there are one or two little discrepancies here, Tim, between what you say you were doing and what Gavin has written about your movements.
What do you mean?
Well, for instance, he says you left him in the canteen at 3:04, and Patrick says you didn't arrive at the pool till 3:09.
Yes.
Well, I've timed the walk between the canteen and the pool, Tim, and it takes just under 2 minutes. Yet it seems to have taken you nearly 5.
Well, perhaps I made a mistake. We're only talking about a few minutes.
A few minutes, yes, Tim. Now tell me, I gather you were rather a useful middle-distance runner while at school.
I was all right. Look, what's all this about?
Now, Tim, I've also timed the distance between the canteen and that window up there, and allowing 1 minute to climb in and climb back out again, it is in fact possible for the above-average sprinter team to do the whole thing in just under 5 minutes.
So you think I took the fiver, is that it?
I'm not saying that, Tim.
Yes, you are. You're accusing me.
I'm emphatically making no accusations at this point. All I'm saying, Tim, is there is an inconsistency here that may or may not have significance.
Well, perhaps I left the canteen a bit later.
Oh, so now you're changing your story. What is it, Carol?
Something you want to know.
Yes?
It's about the missing biscuits.
Yes, come in.
Mr. Brittas,
Yes, Gavin.
I'd just like to say that
that Tim is one of the kindest, gentlest people I know, and the idea that he'd steal £5 is... He wouldn't do a thing like that, not in a million years. Well, not from a baby, anyway. That's all I wanted to say, really.
Gavin, not so hasty, my young friend. I wasn't accusing Tim.
He's a very sensitive person, you know. He's talking about packing it all in and leaving and going back to live with his mother in Cheshire.
Don't worry, Gavin. I'll be going over all this evening.
It's just that whoever took it wasn't Tim.
Look, Gavin, I don't want to give away too much at this early stage, but I will say this. I have a plan which will ensure that by the end of this evening we'll all know who the real culprit is.
Well, can I tell him not to worry, then?
Gavin, if Tim is innocent, he has nothing to fear from me.
Thanks, Mr. Brittas.
Everything all right, Carol?
Yes, Mr. Brittas?
Is everything all right, Mr. Brittas?
Oh, yes, Laura, just clearing out this locker.
I see. Oh, look. Somebody's left their wallet on the table. It's yours.
Is it?
Well, it's got your name and address inside it.
Yes, Laura, thank you. Just want to leave it where it is, please.
You sure?
Quite sure.
It doesn't seem very safe. I mean, if you don't mind me saying so, isn't it rather silly to leave money lying around when there's a thief about?
Laura, this, if you must know, is the bait which is going to catch our thief.
Really?
Yes, there's £100 in £20 notes in there, and if I'm ever given the chance, I'm going to hide in this locker and watch who steals it.
This is the staff changing area, Mr. Brittas.
I shan't be watching any of that, Laura. I just want to see who takes my wallet.
But that's spying on people.
Surveillance, I prefer to call it, Laura. Sometimes unpleasant things have to be done.
Well, I hope none of the others find out.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just not sure how the staff will react having someone taking Polaroids from inside a locker. I just don't think it'll be very popular.
Have you got nothing to do, Laura?
Well, as a matter of fact, I was going to have a shower, but I think I've changed my mind now.
Mr. Brittas! Mr. Brittas!
Yes, what is it?
Oh, there you are, Mr. Brittas. Laura said you were hiding in one of the lockers. Message from Angie. Your wife is waiting for you in your office.
My wife, you sure?
That's what she said. Oh, look. Someone's left their wallet.
Thank you, Linda.
It's just asking to be stolen and left out like that. Oh, it's yours, Mr. Brittas.
Is it, Linda? Thank you.
Lucky I found it. You want to be careful.
Are you not supposed to be on duty in the pool?
No, this is my break.
Well, go and see if Colin needs a hand.
Oh, right, Mr. Brittas.
Hello, darling. What a nice surprise. I thought you were at Uncle Simon's today.
I didn't go. Look,
What
Gordon,
happened?
I changed my mind. Look,
Is
Gordon,
that all right, though? He's 73 years old and bedridden. He relies on you, you know.
Uncle Simon doesn't want to see me anymore.
Doesn't want to. What about all those weekends, the bed baths, the clean underwear?
Apparently someone else is doing all that now.
I see. Well, I have to say, darling, I'm rather relieved.
What?
I always thought it took far too much out of you. You'd come back home from a day flat out at Uncle Simon's. And I think to myself, that poor woman is exhausted. Is the new person younger?
I think so, yes.
That's good.
Look, Gordon, I came in to say the doctor wants to see you.
The doctor?
Yes, he wants to talk to both of us before he give me anything for my depression.
Well, anything to make my little lady happy? Let's see now, when are we free?
No, it has to be now.
Ooh, a bit tricky, darling. I'm supposed to be hiding in a locker in the staff changing room.
Oh, God.
You are a bit down, aren't you, darling? I'll tell you what, why don't I go and find someone to hide for me while you pop down to the cafeteria? Cheer yourself up with some hot chocolate and a donut.
I haven't got my purse.
No problem, darling. Ah. I'll tell you what, get Angie to do you something from petty cash, all right? And I'll see you downstairs in 12 minutes. You could look after someone else.
What?
Instead of Uncle Simon. I'm sure we can find you some old person in need of a bed bath and a bowl of soup. For when you get the urge.
Thank you, Gordon.
Atta girl.
Oh, Mr. Brittas.
Not now, Angie.
Where's he gone now?
Oh, God knows.
It's just he left this downstairs. Sandra just found it lying out on the table.
Oh,
You should
thank
tell him
you.
to be more careful.
Yes.
You all right? Can I get you a cup of coffee or something?
No, no. I'm going to cheer myself up with a cup of hot chocolate.
I'm with you, Mr. Brittas. You want me to get into this locker?
Precisely.
But there's just one problem.
It's not difficult, Colin. Just look through the grill as I explained.
Right, Mr. Brittas, it's just...
And make a note of everyone who comes in and the time.
It's just...
Come on, Colin. It's only for 1 hour.
I'm not sure I can last that long.
What?
Well, you remember I explained to you this morning about my hyperactive bladder and how...
I'll tell you what, Colin. Take this milk. Is that all right?
Well,
It's only for an emergency, Colin.
I'm just not sure one milk bottle will be enough.
Well, if you need any more, put a note in it and stick it outside the door. Now, have you got everything, Colin? Notebook, watch, camera.
Yes, Mr. Brittas.
Right, just make sure you keep an eye on the wallet, all right?
Wallet? What wallet?
The wallet on the table, Colin. It's the whole object of the exercise. You've got to watch that wallet. It's gone.
What's gone?
A wallet. I left a wallet on here with 100 quid in it. It's gone.
You left your wallet on the table?
Yes.
Don't mind me saying so, Mr. Brittas. That wasn't very sensible.
It was meant to be taken, Colin, just not yet. Get in there.
Ah, Mr. Brittas, they said you'd be in here. Your wife asked me to give you this.
Did she, Tim?
And to say she's waiting in the car.
Thank you, Tim.
She said someone gave it to Angie.
Did they, Tim?
I was thinking you want to be careful leaving your wallet lying about, especially if you think someone's trying to steal it.
Yes, well, I'm not particularly interested in your theories just at the moment, thank you, Tim.
Oh, well, I can't do anything right today, can I?
Can you see that clearly, Colin?
Yes, Mr. Brittas.
Right. Good luck.
I'm definitely going to need another bottle.
I don't believe it, Gavin. Well, even he's not stupid enough to do a thing like that.
He is, I tell you, he is. He's in there at the moment.
Mr. Brittas?
Yes.
In the locker?
Yes, Laura saw him getting in.
You're right. He is in there. I can hear him pouring a drink.
It's despicable.
It's fine, that is.
I mean, people come in here to get changed and all sorts of things. I'm going to tell him exactly what I think.
No, hang on a minute. I've got a better idea.
Well, thank you both for coming in.
Not at all, Doctor, and may I say how glad we all are to see some fresh blood in the practice now that old Dr. Burden's dead. I'm not usually one to criticise, but he was definitely gaga in his final years. Half-blind, pill-happy.
He was Dr. Gray's father-in-law, Gordon.
Oh, well, then you'll know what I'm talking about, then.
Mr. Brittas,
Gordon, please.
your wife came to see me earlier, Gordon, about her depression. Now you know about this.
Oh, yes. She's been getting depressions ever since I've known her, really.
Yes, well...
I can usually jolly her out of them, but one doesn't always have the time.
Mrs. Brittas, do you have any idea what causes these depressions?
I think it's all in the mind, really. You see, Mrs. Brittas has what you and I, Doctor, would describe as a poor self-image. I keep telling her she's worth the world to me, but she still gets a bit down, don't you, darling? Some mornings she can hardly persuade herself it's worth getting up.
Have you ever considered marriage guidance, Mr. Brittas?
Funnily enough, I have, yes.
Good, because...
But in the end, I decided to train as a Samaritan instead.
Mr. Brittas, I think it would be very helpful if you and your wife were to talk about why she's depressed with a third person. Do you think that would help, Mrs. Brittas?
Well,
I think talking always helps, yes. As long as you're completely honest about it. You must have honesty in a relationship.
I was asking your wife what she thought.
Oh, she agrees. You can ask yourself. We've always thought that married couples should talk things through, haven't we, darling?
Well, I think
Mr. Brittas, I do wish you'd let your wife answer for herself.
Oh, it's all right. I knew what she was going to say.
Mrs. Brittas, is there anything you'd like to say at this point?
Not really, no.
Would you like me to go ahead and organise a preliminary session?
Well,
I think the best thing to do
You're
is...
doing it again, Mr. Brittas.
What?
I asked your wife a question and you answered for her.
Did I? So I did. Keep pulling me up on that one, darling, will you? I didn't even notice. Well spotted, Doc.
Yes, well, I'll be in touch when I've organised something, Mrs. Brittas.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Doctor. And good luck with the practice. Don't worry, I'm sure people will start to come back eventually.
Yes. Mrs. Brittas,
Yes?
this is your prescription. Please call back when you need some more.
Thank you.
And these are some slightly stronger ones. For the really bad days. Tell me, did he really train for the Samaritans?
Oh, yes.
And they let him in?
Just the one evening. Black Friday, they call it. I lost 4 in an hour and a half.
4?
One of them was just a wrong number.
Oh, Angie, I wanted to ask you what you thought. When he was watching... That's disgusting. Is there anything we can do?
It's all right, Gavin's already doing it.
You ready?
Right.
What are you doing?
It's all right. I got it from a friend of mine who's a vet.
Mr. Brittas!
Yes, Carol.
Look at this, Mr. Brittas!
It's a nappy, Carol.
Not just a nappy, Mr. Brittas. Ben's not blocked anymore.
No, I can see that, Carol.
We found out what was causing the trouble. Look there.
Carol?
Do you recognise the signature, Mr. Brittas?
I beg your pardon?
He's the governor of the Bank of England.
Is it?
He swallowed it.
What?
The £5. Nobody took it. Little Ben ate it.
So the fiver wasn't stolen?
Yes, this is why it wasn't in his carry cot. Oh, I'm so happy.
So no one took the fiver?
No.
So I've spent a large part of my morning accusing people of stealing things that have in fact been eaten by your baby.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brittas. I promise you'll get your money back. I will wash the pieces. I will sellotape them.
All right, Carol.
Of course, it might take a few days before we get it all.
I think it might be easier, Carol, if I took it out of your wages. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go and tell everyone there's been a false alarm.
Oh, Mr. Brittas.
Yes?
Danny handed in your wallet.
Did he? Well done, Danny.
He found it on the table in the restroom. If you don't mind me saying so, Mr. Brittas, I don't think it was a terribly safe place to keep it, was it? I mean, £80 is a lot of money.
If I could just have the wallet, please, Carol. How much?
80. I had to look to see who it belonged to.
80 quid? I've been robbed. However, what the criminal did not know is that my apparent carelessness had a reason which I shall now reveal. Every one of those £20 notes was coated with a phosphorus powder, invisible to the naked eye, but which, under ultraviolet light, shows up as a bright blue, enabling me to see who handled the money and thus name the guilty party. So, if you'd all like to form a queue and run your hands under the light, please. Nice and thoroughly, please, Angie. Thank you very much, Laura, Tim, yes, Gavin, Danny, Phil, Linda, Mandy, nice and... No blue hands. Well, we're obviously dealing with a criminal far cleverer than I first thought.
We don't know that, Mr. Brittas.
What?
About nobody having blue hands.
Yes, I saw quite clearly, Gavin. There was no trace.
You haven't done everyone yet?
Yes, I have, Tim.
Not quite, everyone. Mr.
I was very careful, Laura. I checked every individual.
You haven't done yourself, have you?
No, you were standing behind the light.
Well, there's not a lot of point in me checking my own hands, is there now?
Why not?
You said that no one was above suspicion.
I realise that, Laura, but as I'm the one who set the trap in the first place, I'm hardly likely to have walked into it, am I?
Perhaps it was part of your plan.
Do you mind, Carol?
No, she's not saying that you did plan it, Mr. Brittas. She's just playing devil's advocate, aren't you, Carol?
Yes, I rather
What
felt...
possible motive could I have to steal my own money?
Perhaps you wanted to claim it back on the insurance.
You could have been desperate.
Yeah.
No, don't be ridiculous. You think that I would... You want to see me put my hands under the light? Yes. All right, my hands, light, satisfied? Well, of course they're blue. I had to paint the damn things, didn't I? I had to pick them up and put them in the wallet. Of course I got it on my hands. Anyway, it was my money.
No, it wasn't.
What?
I was just saying, Mr. Brittas, it wasn't your money. Most of it was from petty cash.
Part of it was from petty cash, yes, part of it, but it could easily be my £20 that was stolen.
I think we should call the police.
No one's calling anyone. Just because I've got a bit of dye on my hands...
No, I think Gavin's right, just to sort it out.
Wait! Of course, Colin.
Colin?
The person who took the money, and presumably they were wearing gloves, will have been seen by Colin.
Colin.
I took the precaution earlier of hiding Colin in a locker. So he will see precisely what time the money was taken, and precisely by whom. OK, Colin, you can come out now. Colin, come out now. Are you in there, Colin? All right, who's stolen Colin? Colin?
Yes, Mr. Brittas.
Good grief, what's he doing up there? Colin, are you still inside that thing?
Yes, Mr. Brittas.
Poor Colin. Both legs.
No, I think you'll be all right physically. The doctor said they were clean breaks. No, I was thinking more of, is he fitting in properly? That sort of thing. I mean, that's what's important if he's going to be part of a team. Do people like him? I mean, they hang him up in a fire escape.
Filled your car with cement.
No, that's different, darling. New boy, practical jokes. But I think in the case of Colin, I mean, I'm just not sure he's popular. Part of it, of course, is the flatulence. I think what I'll do is I'll pop in tonight in the hospital and have a tactful word with him about it. Speaking of which, you look rather better, my darling.
Sorry?
More like your old self. Did the doc give you some sort of tonic?
Yes.
Well, my day wasn't too bad, actually. All in all, I think it went quite well.
What?
At the centre, never a very pleasant business pilfering, but I think if we can weather a storm like that, we may end up with a leaner team, but I think it'll be a stronger team at the end of the day.
I thought in the end there wasn't any pilfering.
What?
Well, I borrowed the £20. Carol's baby ate the £5. They found the biscuit pencil down the back of the radiator.
There was the shampoo.
Oh.
And Gavin's soap on a rope. But in the end, I narrowed it down to 4 people, and oddly enough, they were parts of a little group that handed in their notices at the end of the meeting.
Well, all of them?
Yes, I'm not sure they weren't working it as a team, actually. Anyway, they've all gone now.
That's all right, then.
So hopefully, no more pilfering. I thought there were 6 of these.
6 of what?
Kit Kats. There's one missing. Was it you, darling?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Well, fairly sure. I've got these.
There was definitely 6 this morning. I think I'd better have a word with the children.